You don't need to listen closely. You don't need to stay awake. You don't need to do anything right now. Let this play quietly. Let it rest in the background. Let God meet you exactly where you are. There's nothing to figure out, nothing to fix, nothing to prove. If your mind drifts, that's okay. If you fall asleep, that's okay too. This time is not about effort. It's about presence. You're allowed to rest here. Take a slow breath, not to force calm, just to let you know you're here. You don't need to rush. You don't need to fix anything. You don't need the right words. If you're listening right now, that is enough. Some of the hardest seasons aren't loud. They don't come with obvious pain. They don't announce themselves. They come quietly. They come when you're still showing up, still functioning, still doing what needs to be done. But inside, you're tired. You pray. You wait. You try to stay hopeful. And yet, something feels heavy. If that's you, you're not weak. You're not failing. You're human. And tonight, this is a safe place to rest. God is not asking you to perform. He's not measuring your strength. He's not disappointed in your tiredness. He already knows. Scripture reminds us in Psalm 34:18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Not the loud, not the confident, not the ones who have everything figured out, the crushed, the weary, the quiet ones. So if your heart feels tired in ways words can't explain, you're not behind, you're not forgotten, you're not out of reach, you're exactly where you need to be. Let's slow down together. Sometimes the weight isn't one big thing. It's many small things piling up, quietly, gradually. Unanswered prayers, delayed answers, doors that didn't open when you thought they would. Silent seasons where nothing seems wrong, but nothing feels settled either. Moments where questions surface in the back of your mind. Did God hear me? Did I pray the right way? Did I miss something? Am I doing something wrong? You don't always say these things out loud. You don't always let yourself think them fully. But they're there. Anxiety doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. It sits quietly behind your thoughts. It tightens your chest when you finally lie down. It shows up when the world goes quiet. You try to rest, but your mind keeps replaying what hasn't changed yet. And waiting. Waiting can be heavier than loss, because loss brings closure. But waiting keeps hope alive, stretched thin. You're still believing, still trusting, still holding space for something to happen. And that takes strength. The Bible doesn't dismiss this feeling. It doesn't rush past it. Isaiah 40:31 reminds us, "Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength." Not those who rush, not those who force answers, not those who pretend they're fine. Those who wait. Waiting is not weakness. Waiting is trust under pressure. It's choosing not to quit, even when nothing has moved yet. God sees the nights you stayed strong for everyone else. The conversations where you encouraged others while quietly carrying your own weight. He sees the prayers you whispered instead of shouted, the ones you barely had energy to finish. He sees the tears you wiped away before anyone noticed. Even Jesus understood this weight. In the garden, he prayed. He asked for the cup to pass. He felt sorrow. He felt pressure. He felt the loneliness of waiting. So if you feel overwhelmed tonight, you are not distant from God. You are not disappointing Him. You are not failing at faith. You are closer than you think. And the fact that you're still here, still listening, still breathing, means you haven't been forgotten. You are seen. One of the quiet fears many people carry is this: what if God isn't answering me? But here's the truth we don't hear often enough. God's silence is not God's absence. Sometimes God answers by changing circumstances. Sometimes He answers by strengthening the heart. Sometimes He answers by slowing us down so we don't run ahead of what He's preparing. In Isaiah 55:8, God says, "My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways." That's not a distance statement. It's a protection statement. Some delays are mercy. Some closed doors are shielding. Some quiet seasons are preparation. You're not being ignored. You're being held. Even now, you don't have to carry everything tonight. Not the timeline, not the pressure, not the weight of figuring it all out. You don't have to solve your future before you rest. You don't have to understand everything to be held. Jesus said in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." He didn't promise explanations. He didn't demand clarity. He offered rest. And rest is not something you earn. It's something you receive. So let's release some things together. Slowly, without guilt. Release the belief that you have to be strong all the time. Release the pressure to hold it together for everyone else. Release the idea that weakness means failure. Release the guilt for feeling tired, for needing a pause, for not being where you thought you'd be by now. Release the fear that you're falling behind, that time is running out, that you've missed your moment. You're not behind. You're being led. God does not rush healing. He does not force growth. He does not hurry the heart. He walks with you at the pace your soul can handle. He waits when you need to breathe. He stays when you need time. He remains when you have nothing left to give. Even now, He's gentle with you. You don't have to carry this alone anymore. You can rest here. God, we come quietly tonight. Not with perfect words, not with rehearsed prayers, just as we are. You see the tired heart. You see the anxious thoughts. You see the waiting that feels endless. We release what we cannot control. We release the pressure to fix everything. We release the fear of not knowing what's next. Your word says in Psalm 55:22, "Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you." So we place them in your hands now. The worries we can't quiet. The fears we don't talk about. The prayers we've repeated over and over. Hold them for us. Give rest to the restless mind, peace to the anxious heart, strength to the weary soul. Where there is fear, breathe calm. Where there is confusion, bring clarity. Where there is heaviness, bring light. We trust you, even here, even now. You don't need everything to change tonight. You don't need answers by morning. You don't need a breakthrough on demand. Sometimes the miracle is rest. Sometimes the healing is peace. Sometimes the progress is simply staying. God is working even when you can't see it. He's near even when you feel alone. He's faithful even in the waiting. Let your shoulders relax. Let your breathing slow. Let God carry what you can't. You are not forgotten. You are not failing. You are deeply loved. Stay here as long as you need. You don't have to walk this season alone. This is the way of light. If this prayer has helped you rest or helped you feel less alone. Your support keeps this space alive. By subscribing to the Way of Light, you help others find this calm when they need it most. And if you choose to support the channel, thank you. It allows these prayers to remain here, free, quiet, and available for anyone searching for peace. You're always welcome here.